Hi, hello, and how are you? My name is Paige, and this is my YouTube channel, Asparagus Reading, and today we're going to be doing a book haul. So this haul is going to be all the books that I've gotten since my last haul video. I think that's like mid-September up until now, which is like February 2nd, and I think the next video is going to be like February 3rd up until whatever point. So I'm trying to keep it like that. I've been trying to keep like a list in my phone so that I know, because sometimes I repeat books and didn't even realize it. But anyways, let's just get into it. I do have quite a long list. I didn't think it was this many until I looked at the list. So the very first one we're talking about is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is a pre-order that I had from Barnes & Noble. Honestly, I don't remember, but it is a pre-order that was signed. So one of the ones that she posted about and I pre-ordered from. So I could get it open for you. There's the almost dropped it. There's the signature portion, and it did come with an art print that I like to keep inside. So if you don't know what this is about, this is a YA fantasy, kind of like a mystery a little bit, that follows Signa, who I think is like in her teens, maybe early 20s, something like that. Nope, she's 19. All right. And ever since she was orphaned as a baby, a lot of her family members have died from various ways of people dying. And she at some point has realized, like, okay, this is definitely something that's following me. It's not like just random, like it's always people that she's with. And so she has decided to go on a quest to kind of figure out why they're dying, see if maybe she can stop it, but also why hasn't death gotten her yet, considering she's at these places, these people dying, and if it's an intentional choice not to kill her. I do believe there's supposed to be a little bit of a mystery quest, trying to figure out what's going on, figure out why she's not dying, if she's the cause of it somehow, how these deaths are happening, learning more about her family, because clearly something's going on with the family. But I do believe there's a little bit of romance in here. From my understanding, she has a little bit of a romance relationship with Death himself, which I'm a little confused by, because she's like 18, 19, and if it's Death, who I'm assuming is the one and only entity of death, not like multiple iterations, isn't he like thousands of years old? So like a part of me is like a little concerned, because a lot of fantasies tend to have like a really young protagonist and a really old romantic interest, and I'm not really digging it, because like in my mind, you're old. I don't care if you're 17 frozen in time 17. You're still old, because you've been around. You have time to learn, you have time to mature, time to get skills and whatnot. She hasn't. So like I'm a little concerned about the romantic aspect, just because like I know that he's probably going to be significantly older and she's young, and I'm concerned about his part in the deaths related to her family. But other than that, I think this is going to sound really interesting. I really hope I like it. The reviews that I've seen have been very mixed, just because some people seem to really want more of the romance, and some people really want more of like the mystery around the family. I like both of those genres, so I'm very curious to see if I like the mesh, or if I'm going to prefer a little bit more of one of those plot lines. This next book is actually something that hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to put like something else instead. So it's going to be the sequel to Gilded by Marissa Meyer. So this is Gilded, the regular hardcover edition that you could buy anywhere. I pre-ordered the cursed, hold on, okay, yeah, so this is Gilded. Then I have Cursed. These are a Rumpelstiltskin retelling following a girl named Serelda, who is known for telling fairy tales and stories. And one day, one of those stories gets back to the king, and he is pissed because he doesn't like the story that she has told. I don't know if it's true, I just know that he's pissed that she's telling it. And so as a punishment, he has her try to spin some gold, or she dies. And obviously, that's like an impossible task, and she ends up meeting this guy. I'm assuming he is the Rumpelstiltskin character, because this is a retelling of that story, that she has a deal with to kind of spin this silver and gold and not die. I'm curious about where the story's gonna go, just because Rumpelstiltskin tends to like children. He's a firstborn stealer, so I'm like, is Marissa Meyer going to include pregnancies? I guess we'll find out. So I did get the second book in this series, but I also pre-ordered the Fairy Loot edition of Curse. This is Gilded, but I don't have Curse yet because it hasn't shipped yet. It's supposed to be shipped sometime this month, hopefully, but I do want to mention those. Then the next book I have is a gift from Paige at the PM Reader. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. And that is a Wash Day Diaries, written by Jamila Rouser and I think illustrated by Robin Smith, if I remember correctly. This is a graphic novel that follows four best friends that live in New York. Kind of like a slice of life about them and their life in New York, and their hair affects them. For a lot of people, hair is a very important aspect of their life. And your hair can really affect your mood, how you're portrayed, how you view yourself, and all those other things in relation to hair. And so in this book, you kind of see how that goes, but you can also see the kind of community that surrounds hair, because a lot of times black women will gather in a salon or in the living rooms or in the garage or in the kitchen with multiple other women to do their wash day stuff. And so you kind of see these friends having those days where they're together and like doing their hair and whatnot, but also just slice of life, having fun conversations and stuff. I really enjoyed it just because I am a black woman myself. I often have to do my hair. Even though most videos it's in a ponytail, I do other styles sometimes. And also, I live in New York and I very much understood and really enjoyed a lot of the references and discussions about things that happen in New York. Also, I'm pretty sure that this was from Paige because of a giveaway. And then she also purchased Cursed, the hardcover version, for me because let me actually, do I have the note? I think this was from a giveaway and the other one was for my birthday. But thank you, Paige. We love her. If you haven't checked out her channel yet, get on it while we slacking. Like, come on. Like, she's definitely like, if I want like a cozy, heartwarming, like a friend video to watch, like where I feel like really safe and comfortable, I like to watch Paige. Kind of like the same way I like listen to ASMR. It's like she gives me similar vibes. So if you're looking for that, definitely check out Paige. Okay, so then I have this 5-book set. If I can pick them up, I used to have them in the box, but the box kind of got destroyed. And that is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians 1 through 5. I think the 6th one was recently announced, or the companion or whatever. I got these, like I mentioned in previous videos, just because I want to get back into reading Rick Riordan. It's been a long time since I really read anything by him, and also because I want to be caught up with the fandom. I don't really know a lot about these other than this follows a group of kids who are half-bloods or demigods, where their parents is like, one is a god and one is a human, and they go to a camp called Camp Half-Bloods to kind of like learn about their parents and their abilities and their quests and whatnot. Other than that, I don't think I can really tell you much about it. So hopefully one day I'll finally get into these, and then depending on how I feel about these, I'll definitely, probably, most likely dive into others by Rick Riordan. Speaking of series, we have a couple that are more romance related, and the first series is book 1 and book 2 of the Brush with Love trilogy by Maisie Eddings. I got these from Pango Books, if I remember correctly. I read these both last year, and I read the plus one last year, which is book 3, all 5 stars. Immaculate writing. I mean, when I want gold, right here. Okay, so this is book 1, her debut. This is following Harper and Dan, who are in dentist school, close to getting their degree. I don't remember which degree exactly it is. And they accidentally bump into each other, quite literally, on their way to class. And she accidentally breaks his model that he made for his class. And so because she feels bad, she asks to, you know, meet up with him again and kind of remake it for him so he can get that grade. And with that comes a really great conversation and a spark, and they start meeting up more often, becoming friends, and eventually romance happens. I really enjoyed this. I don't really know a lot about dentistry. I think I know a lot more about doctors and like physical therapy and stuff. So this was kind of fun to learn some things, but also like not too much where I was like, okay, we get it. But you could definitely feel Maisie's passion for dentistry, because I do believe she is one as well, and she did recently graduate sometime last year. And I really enjoyed this. I pretty sure I gave this 5 stars, if not like 4.5, 4.75. I liked the gradual growth of the relationship, but also the time tips to kind of speed up the process a little bit. And I do believe there's some discussion of like anxiety in here. There's this discussion of therapy. All of her books are very like therapy positive, and mental health positive, so that's another big thing in here. Um, but also check out other trigger warnings. It's been a while since I read it, so I'm not totally sure off the top of my head. So if you are interested, check out the trigger warnings, but also like read the book. Which is book 2 is Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake. I think this of all the ones I read by Liz words of all the ones that I've read by Maisie so far, this is probably my number one, which I'm very surprised by, just because it's a pregnancy book. Like many readers, the pregnancy trope isn't my favorite. Like, I'll read it, but it's not like wow every time. What I learned last year, because I did read quite a few pregnancy books last year, I think I prefer the pregnancy to be something that I'm aware of prior to reading the book. If it's surprise, I don't think I enjoy it as much. I don't really care as much. Like, yes, it can kind of be a big stake, like a risk, a little bit of a conflict in a romantic relationship. But I also feel like it's very difficult and to enjoy, just because not every person in real life wants kids, and so for almost every couple in a book to get kids, it's kind of like. Also, a lot of these relationships in romance books tend to go very quickly, so people to be having kids in books is kind of like, okay, not the most realistic. And it's just a little weird because a lot of those books kind of feed into the stigma of husband, wife, 2.5 kids, pick white picket fence kind of thing. Anyways, it's a whole conversation we could have another time. But this one has pregnancy, and I was very shocked by how much I loved this and endured the main characters, Lizzie and Rake. Yes, his name is Rake, just like all the historical romances. Rake, immaculate, handsome man. That is an ideal husband right there. An ideal father too, because he's dad. I love this. I don't know. Like, this one was good. Okay, I read this in like a day. This blew it out of the water. When I tell you, I was like, oh snap! Like, for debut and like her second book, Maisie. I don't know. Like, she have gold tip fingers. Like, I really enjoy this. So this follows Lizzie, who's like one of the best friends of Harper, and she is very sex positive, very therapy positive. I think she has ADHD and a little bit of anxiety in here, so you do get a lot of discussion about that and her going to therapy and whatnot. She likes having one night stands every now and then, going on dates, whatever. And then so she goes on a date. The guy basically stands her up, and she's like, "Cool. Well, I'm gonna go home." Well, while she's there at the bar, this handsome man, Rake, he's kind of like next to her, and they kind of order drinks at the same time because they thought the bartender was talking to them. And two of them kind of look at each other like. When I tell you, the bar scene was like the most amazing first meet cute scenes oh my gosh. Anyways, and so they have this really steamy scene at the bar, and she's really interested in him. But she's at this point, she's kind of like frustrated and annoyed because her date didn't go well. She wants to go home, but they had a really good conversation. And next thing you know, the date that was supposed to be here shows up, and he's drunk and a bit aggressive and a bit like, kind of like entitled to what he wants. And I'm like, sir, you were late, you missed the date, and you're drunk. You're not getting nothing from me. So Rake kind of, handles that, and so yeah, they just had a really great time. And I think they had a one night stand, and then she got pregnant, and they decided to co-parent, and it was just immaculate. I love it. I know it's not everyone's tea because pregnancy, and I'm sad because I know a lot of people are gonna read it because of pregnancy, but this is one of the good ones. This is one of the best ones. All right, so another book that is part of a series or romance series, and that is Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade. This is the edition that I ordered from an independent bookstore. If you order from the bookstore by a certain time, you could get the alternative dust jacket, which is this. The actual cover looks like, okay, it looks like this. This follows two actors who met, I don't remember how exactly they met. Things like at a party. They had a one night stand. It was great. Sparks flew, fireworks everywhere. Great time, right? And she left him. She kind of woke up in the morning and she was like, deuces, which triggered some things in him, which is explained in the book. And they end up seeing each other again like the following day because they are both in the same area, because they are both auditioning for the same show. And they get the part. And the parts that they get is being in a relationship with each other. So perfect timing, universe, right? After she left him and like really hurt his feelings, he wants to be professional because he wants to do his job and get paid. Again, something that is explained in here why he's that way. And so you're watching the two of them stay professional throughout the show, but also really struggle with that because of their growing relationship as friends, but also growing feelings for each other. And there's like those constant reminders of how that first night really was for them. And it was, I'll be honest, it was okay. This one was okay. I think of the three, this is probably my, if I were to rank the whole series, this would probably be last. I think I really struggled with understanding the timeline of this book. I think that really was what ruined it for me because the whole time I was really confused what's going on. And literally like down here is when I realized like, oh, this is supposed to take place over years. I thought it was like, I don't know, a year or two. This takes place like over like 10 years, I think. And I was just like, who got time for that? 10 years might be an exaggeration. I don't quite remember, but it was a good chunk of years. I feel like I could have been explained a little bit more. There were also like different things put throughout the chapters with like text messages and emails and whatnot. That was also what threw me because certain things in those conversations didn't really make sense to the current plot, and I was like, what is this? I don't know. It for me, I think I was just a little confused by all the different elements going on, and for a slow burn, this was incredibly slow, but I also didn't really feel all of that pining in comparison to other slow burns that I read. And honestly, for the both of them, I'm okay with them being friends. I don't think it's really necessary for them to be a happy romantic couple in the end. I honestly cared more about some of these side character romantic relationships than I did about theirs. The next book is A Geography of Bliss. No clue what this is about. This is just a required reading for one of my courses. I think I got this from Pango as well, just because I saw that someone was selling it for like $5. We haven't started reading it yet. I'm assuming we'll read it within the next couple of months. I don't know if this is supposed to be fiction or nonfiction, but I think this is supposed to follow someone that does some traveling. And it just talks about what happens during those travels and their experience and whatnot. I don't know. I just got it because my class needed it, okay? The next book I have here, I think I got from Target on sale just because I got the first book on Target on sale, and that is Whiteout by Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. This is a short story anthology collection following a bunch of different black people in Chicago? Atlanta. I always think Chicago. I don't know why. But the first one is in New York during a blackout where basically like all the power goes out and like different love stories that goes on in New York. Kind of like slice of life, but a little bit of romance. This is the same thing except this is in Atlanta where it's a whiteout, where there's a really big sudden snowstorm that really just shuts down the area and you're just reading this romance story of different characters but also one overarching theme or overarching story that you see kind of dwindled in each. But anyways, I really enjoyed this one. I do think I like Blackout a little bit more. I'm curious. I really enjoy these. I think these are really great, especially like celebrations. Like I don't know, like they just felt like embracing black love stories, but also like the craziness that goes on in the world, especially since both are written after COVID, and both of these things, like a blackout and whiteout, has happened recently in people's lives. Speaking of POC stories, I have Amber McBride's We Are So Good at Smiling. This just recently released. This is a book written in prose, and it's really difficult for me to describe because I feel like it's hard to describe without spoiling it. It is a contemporary story that follows Whimsy, who is in the beginning in a facility for her clinical depression, and through the rest of the story I think she's outside the facility. She has went home and still going through recovery from her depression and trying to continue the healing process from that. But it also has like very subtle but sometimes obvious fairy tale aspects and also like retelling references, because there are some things in here that reminds me of different fairy tales, but as of right, it just feels subtle enough where you notice it but not too obvious where it takes away from the original story. I'm really enjoying it. I don't really read a lot in prose, or at least in any poetry format, really. And it's a very interesting way to tell a story, and I think I would definitely pick up more just based off my enjoyment of this. These next two are from the same author. I believe these are the only two that I have by her that are physical copies. I do have ebook copies, so we'll talk about that after. The first one is On the Way to You by Candy Steiner. This is a adult romance that follows a girl named Emery who works in a waitressing position. And one day she is there and she is serving this guy, and he kind of asks her, like, he asked her some question. I think it's something along the lines of, like, what makes you happy, or what would you do if you could be happy? Something along those lines. And they have a little bit of conversation, and he gives her the option to go on a road trip with her, just to go somewhere. And she was like, I'm not going on a trip with no stranger. But I think with some further thought, she's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be spontaneous. I'm going to take the risk, and I'm going to go. Because that's something that she's been wanting to do all her life, is to get away from her town, to experience the world, to do other things. And so you are following them on this road trip. She is a amputee. She does have a prosthetic. So you do see that amputee prosthetic representation. You are also watching their romance blossom during this time, and it's also seeing some of their personal struggles, like their inner conflicts individually, but also the conflict they have when they're together. I enjoy this one. I think of all of Candy Steiner's, this one is one of the ones I would rank a little higher just based off what I've read. However, I think a lot of the other ones I enjoyed more than this one. So the other one by Candy that I wanted to talk about is The Christmas Blanket. So this story follows Eliza, who is on her way home to like her hometown for Christmas, just to surprise her family. But unfortunately there is this really sudden, really crazy snowstorm, snow blizzard that's happening, and she ends up getting stuck in the snow. And so as she's like saying there, trying to figure out her options of how to get out of the snow and where to go, a random stranger stops by and tries to help her out. And of course, of all the people in the world to save her, this random stranger is her ex-husband. They got a divorce about 4 years ago. She packed her bags and her left, and she's been traveling the world ever since. And now she has found out that he has been at the hometown for those last 4 years on his own. And, well, not really. He has the family dog. But he has been on his own and really, like, building up his life and doing the things that he wanted to do. So basically, they split off to do the things they wanted to do, basically. And because of the snow blizzard, she has really nowhere else to go. She ends up going back home with him. And that close proximity really brings up a lot of memories for the both of them, but also some of those lingering feelings that never really went away. And so they have a lot of those hard conversations about why they divorced and what they were feeling and how they've been feeling ever since the divorce. And I love a good second chance romance. I love a good marriage in trouble book. And this was just giving me all of that. They're forced to talk to each other because they're stuck in the same house. They're both having some resentment towards each other because of what happened, but also some guilt because of what they could have done better. They both still really love each other, but don't really want to admit it. It was just, I loved it. I wish it was longer. Because I would love more of this, at least this couple in general. I just really enjoyed this. I've read this like 4 times. Speaking of Candy Steiner, I own ebook copies of all 4. Well, the 4th one isn't out yet, but I'm going to get it. I own all 4 ebook versions of the books in the Red Zone Rivals series. So that is Fair Catch, Blindside, Quarterback Sneak, and Hail Mary. This is a college romance series, adult romance. The first one follows both characters because both of them are on a sports team. It is a brother's best friend romance, and they end up being roommates. The second one is a fake dating romance. I believe the main female character is trying to get with a different guy, but she doesn't have a lot of experience in like romance or sex field or anything like that, and so she decides to go to the main male character and she asks him for experience, and they become close and do that fake dating thing. And then book 3 is a secret hidden romance where it is the coach's daughter and one of the team members on the team. He's also the team leader. I believe she's like the physical therapist, I think, for the team. And then book 4 is going to be, I think, like ex-best friends, roommates, forced proximity, somewhat enemies to lovers. When I tell you I'm so excited, they were so good. But yeah, I have those as well. So the next book I'm going to be talking about is away from the romance genre. I'm sure there's probably another one in here, and that is The Perfect Mother by Amy Malloy. I know nothing about this book. I've just been in a really big thriller and mystery kick recently, and so when I saw this at Ollie's for like $4, I got it. Honestly, I don't even know if anyone that I follow has read this, and so I'm a little concerned that it's not good. But I do believe this is about a group of mothers who are all like new moms. And they all have babies about, I think, in the same month. They're called the May mothers because they're all new moms who all had babies in the month of May. And so every week, I think twice a week, they get together to do like mom time, you know, drinking, gossiping, you know, mom stuff. And I think one day while they're out, one of the babies has been taken from the crib. And so this book is like a mystery of figuring out where that baby has went, who took the baby and why. But I am very interested to read this just because a lot of my friends are mothers, and I'm very curious to see if the actions and behaviors of these mothers after this children go missing will be very similar to how me and my friends would react. So yeah, when I get to this, probably very soon, because like thrillers have really just been, they've been really delicious recently. Like, I was in a very hard romance kick for like a year and a half now. Now I think I'm slowly dying down, and I'm nonfiction, memoirs specifically, but nonfiction and thrillers, they've been the key to my heart the last couple months. So the next one are also ebooks. I kind of forgot about them. These are Elsie Silver's Heartless and Flawless in her Chestnut Springs romance series. Silver is known for these books. These books have really become really popular recently. I read it just because Candy Steiner had talked about them. I do believe that Candy and Elsie's most recent releases, like the last 2 years or so, have released around the same time. I think they've been like a week or two off. And so I would just get both of them and read them both within like 3 days, and they were both incredible. This was great. It was great. I don't know what is going on, but all the authors this year with their sequels, it's just been better than the first one. Like Candy Steiner, Blindside. Ugh, I don't know what she did from Faircast to Blindside, but it went from like amazing to like gold. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about some other books where I also feel like have gone really, really well. And the first one is Ever After Always by Chloe Leese. I recently caught up on all of the Berman Brothers series, except the ones that, you know, aren't released. And out of all of them, number 3 is my personal favorite, and so I purchased it. This is a marriage of convenience, second chance, so obviously I gave it 5 stars. This follows Freya and Aiden, who are struggling and trying to work through their marriage. Freya has basically kicked out Aiden because she feels like he's not really paying attention to her, feels like that he doesn't really care about her, feels like their relationship's kind of fizzled out, nothing's really going on. She's really sad and miserable, feels like he's keeping secrets from her, all kinds of things. So she kicks him out, and she's like, look, you need to go. But he comes back because he has kind of had like a light bulb moment conversation with his brother, and they decide to try to work on their marriage a bit. But it's also very difficult because she's been trying. I don't think he's been seeing that. At this point, she's kind of like just tired. But the two of them kind of try to privately work on that relationship. So like a little bit of therapy, things on their own, you know, going on dates again, and having conversations they should have had, and things like that. And I really enjoyed it. Again, I love second chance. I love single parent. I love marriage convenience. I love fake dating. This has a couple of those. It also is a sequel or a third book in a series that I felt like was 15 times better than the first one. And, you know, like I'm smiling just thinking about it. When they sang, oh my gosh, yes. And the next book, and I think the final book of this entire video, is Shadows Have Claws by like 15 authors. This is a anthology short story collection of 15 Latin American monster stories. So there's a bunch of different stories about a certain monster. I'm not sure if they're all new monsters or they're existing or they're retellings. I just know that they're monster stories. They sounded really interesting because a couple of the authors were in a live stream and they made it sound really good, so I bought it. But also because I love Raquel Marie as a YouTuber. She's no longer posting videos, but I have loved her writing because she's now an author. This will be her third book that has come out with her in it. And also they have really cool illustrations that kind of make me scared to read at night, but like also that's kind of the point. And so I'm really excited to read that as well. That is all the books. Now into the other items. I have a bullet journal, right? And I have been trying to get into using more stickers, as you can see in just a second. I have a ton in this Dollar Tree pencil case. It was a great idea to use, but it's also Dollar Tree, so it's not the greatest quality. Sometimes it doesn't close. And so, yeah, like I have tons of stickers in here, right? I'm in the habit of drawing in my bullet journal, so I'm trying to do a little bit more sticking and pasting stickers. And so I have started slowly buying bullet journal stickers. And one of my lovely friends, Bree from In Love and Words, has an Etsy shop with many of these. And so in the last couple of months, I may have acquired like 20 different sticker sheets. You know, because I can't help myself, and I bought many of them, as you can see. So I don't have every single one she's made. I did try to get like one of each, but I don't think I've gotten all of them yet. So I have some that are more like YouTube related, so like upload, edit, record symbols. Then I have some that are more genre related, so like horror, thriller, mystery, and whatnot. Then I have more ratings. This is more like you want to do your spicy rating, or if you want to do your star rating. I also have one for like to keep track of your reading progress. So TBR, currently reading DNF. Then I have some more like representation. So like disability, LGBTQ, Black love, neurodivergent, etc. Then I have some that are more like telling me your thoughts about the book. So like meh, I love it, it was great, fantastic, etc. And then we have page counts, so anywhere between 50 to like 500. And we have more like fun bookish ones, which like tea time and random quotes, readathon. Yeah, so that is definitely that. I'll leave a link to the shop down below. Then, speaking of Etsy shops, Bree and I have a good friend, Ava, who I talk about all the time. She has this lovely Etsy shop, and she sells bookmarks and prints and YouTube banners and like little drawings of from real life pictures. Like, you know, you take a real picture and make it look like illustrated. She does those and a bunch of other things. She also has a Chronically Courageous YouTube channel where she talks about her chronic illness and other things going on in her life. And she had a bonfire campaign for merch a while ago. I don't know if it's still up. If it is, I'll try to pop the link down below. But I have the sweater. It's in the wash, so I can't show it. Love the sweater. Wear it like once a week. I also got the t-shirt. I got it in yellow, just because I feel like the yellow would kind of pop out, the yellow in the flowers. But the yellow, if you can see it, says Chronically Courageous with this floral design, and it's cute. So yeah, that is that. Was there anything else? Oh, I did get some. This is one of the bookmarks that Ava made. It has my name and my username. That I think was just a gift, just for fun, but she does make a lot of handmade items if you're interested in that. That is it. If you've read any of these, let me know what you think down below. If you plan to, let me know when. If you don't have anything about those, let me know what you've hauled recently. And if you don't have anything to say at all, just drop a book stack emoji, because that was definitely a pretty big stack that I hauled. and have a good day, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is where you are, and I'll see you in the next one.